Hello and welcome to round 4 of Grand Prix Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Brian David Marshall. I'm joined by Marshall Sutcliffe. And there you get a look at Andre Stoski versus Willie Adel. Both players are Boros. It's a subterranean scout that Willie Adel's played. It's given itself unblockable until the end of the turn. Sometimes you have to play it. There goes a fiery impulse to take down the subterranean scout. No third turn. Gear crafter, sorry.
That's a gear per gear crafter.
Yeah,
yep, and Thopter friend.
Yep, and there's the Thopter.
That is a Knight of the Pilgrim's Road. So that's the 3-2 with Renown 1.
That guy's been surprisingly good.
Yeah, that card's nice. You know, it's just solid, right? That's not the kind of card that you get really excited about.
A War
it's
Oracle
solid.
from
Oracle
Willie Adel.
is very good. So that's a 3-3 lifelink with Renown 1.
Right. So if that hits, it's going to be a 4-4 lifelinker.
Exactly, which, especially when you're dealing with a mirror match like this, BDM, you've got the red-white versus a red-white, two traditionally aggressive color pairs, and they do look to be aggressive here. And if we're going to have a race on our hands here and Willie can get that War Oracle going, he's going to run away with this thing.
So charging Griffin for Andre Stoski.
This is a big turn. If Willie untaps and has removal here to kill the Knight of the Pilgrim's Road, he is going to hit for a lot of damage, and he's going to get to potentially get that War Oracle up.
Even Grasp of the Hieromancer.
Sure. Anything to get it out of the way. Remember, the Griffin is only a 2-2 until it attacks, and it becomes a 3-3 until end of turn. But sitting back on defense, which is what Andre has been kind of forced to do here, means that he's kind of dealing with the bad end of it. A 2-2 flyer for 4 is not up to snuff.
And, of course, the Knight of the Pilgrim's Road is a 3-2.
3-2, yep. So Willie certainly going to want to attack with his Gear Crafter here, as I think he would take either trade, assuming he has a follow-up play. It looks like he may not, though. If he doesn't have a follow-up play to block, then he will want to leave the Gear Crafter back to block the Knight.
Sends in the
And here comes a combat trick. It looks like it's Titan Strength, and it is.
So I'm going to gain 6 here.
Wow.
Got a Scry.
Left it on top. No good news here for Stoski.
Well, the good news is Willie didn't play anything.
Yet. He could. You're right. That is good news, though, for Stoski, that Adel at least didn't have another creature.
So gets in for 3 with the Charging Griffin. And here comes a Totem Guide Heartbeast. So this is a card you're familiar with from when you first got back into Magic, right?
Yeah, all the way back from Rise of the Eldrazi.
Well, that's pretty good. He's going to get a Knightly Valor. When it comes into play, you get to search for an aura.
Yep.
So he's going to go and get himself a Knightly Valor. So that's going to be a 5/5 when attacking Vigilant Flyer next turn. That also leaves a 2/2 Knight in play.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting dance that we're going to see between these players now, because another thing that could happen is Willie could easily leave up mana on Andre's turn to say, look, go for it, kid. You know, you want to go for your 5 mana aura, I will just kill the creature out from underneath it. And that would basically make it so that Andre wouldn't be able to. And it looks like Willie's sending in with the team. Even the Gear per Gear Crafter just unabashedly crunching into the big
into the 2/5 Heartbeast.
2/5, yeah.
So the 2/5 is going to block the 3/3. Wants to keep it from being renowned, and that's what Willie was counting on at the very least.
He was willing to trade his Gear Crafter to get his War Oracle renown.
There's another Gear Crafter.
Now, what mana has he left up here?
He's
white?
left 2 white.
White.
So that sounds like, to me, Celestial Flare.
Flare is the card that
He's
comes to
certainly
mind.
representing Celestial Flare.
He is.
He might be broadcasting it.
Right.
On all channels.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because if he doesn't have it, it is an interesting bluff to make, because he could also leave up red if he wanted, which could dissuade Stoski from putting the Knightly Valor on his flyer. Now, it wouldn't do anything. You know, there's Fiery Impulse that he could use to kill the flyer in response, so Stoski might not want to do it, but he would still be able to put it on the Heartbeast.
Saw a non-basic land there from Stoski in hand. Trying to say probably a Foundry of the Consoles.
That's the one that makes the 2/1/1.
Yeah, that's what it is. He does have a Foundry.
Thopters.
2/1/1 Thopters, 5 mana, tap, sacrifice.
Very good card.
Great sealed deck card to me. right? Just like
Very good.
especially if you're not. All right.
Yeah.
Knightly Valor goes on the Heart Beast, gets a token.
So stage 1 complete here. Andre has now gotten the Knight token, and he's going to play around. He's not even attacking here.
Wow.
That's insane. So, because what's happening here is the Griffin is holding back the 2 Thopters, so he's content to not attack with that. But he did not attack with the Heart Beast, respecting the fact that Willie very well could have Celestial Flare in hand and was representing it to the fullest, tapping 3 red mana and purposely leaving double white up. I'm really curious to see if Willie actually has it now.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But Andre's decided that he does need to respect it, though it does get kind of interesting here, right?
He only had 1 token up, though, right? Like, could have attacked with the Griffin and been willing to trade your Griffin for the...
For what? I mean,
Yeah.
the Griffin has a clean attack. He's leaving it back to block.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to keep those 2 Thopters at bay because he's not winning the race right now.
Yeah.
Willie's at 26.
Adel sends it back. Now they both come.
Interesting.
Willie's just going to take it.
It's 7 damage.
Gets
Willie's
him-
at 26.
Gets him
though.
all the way down to 19.
Yeah, so he can take a hit here.
Stoski getting ready to sacrifice his Foundry.
It does look to be the case.
All right. In come 2 Thopter tokens. Yeah, Andre's like, looks like he just took the damage. 7th mana for Adel, and he passes the turn. Stoski sacrifices his Foundry, gets his 2 Thopter tokens.
All right, this board has gotten a little muddled up here.
Do you give away a land slot to the Foundry when you're building your deck, or do you treat that as a spell?
I treat it as a land.
You treat it as land, so
I
you
do.
wouldn't go to an 18th land necessarily if you were
Right.
if you were otherwise going to play 17 or 19.
That's right.
Yeah.
It still taps for colorless, so I still have it in the land slot. I do, of course, make sure that my mana can take it.
Yeah.
I'm not splashing.
You're not
going to
play it in a 3-color deck,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
And also, if my deck does have a lot of double mana symbols in it, I will be less likely to play that card. I probably still play it anyway.
Yeah. Well, we got something coming here. 5 mana.
Chandra's Fury. Well, those Thopters didn't last long.
Chandra Fury, and still has white showing, by the way.
He does. And the timing of this gets really interesting.
All right, Titan Strength, one of the Thopters, though.
Okay, so that will keep it alive.
Yeah, it's going to get it an extra point of toughness.
Still, Stoski's going to take 4 and lose a Thopter, and he does have to burn that Titan Strength now. So that thing's taken 1, meaning that he can stack up a big block on it to actually kill it.
Well, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Putting both Gearcrafters and the War Oracle in the
So
way.
a War Oracle and a Gearcrafter are set to die in this transaction. That would leave Willie with a Gearcrafter left. Oh, no. That is Enshrouding Mist. That is going to be brutal here. +1/+1, which is just big
Willie
enough.
had the
But he didn't even
Enshrouding
need it because it also prevents all damage to it.
Mist. And there's Majoring Bully.
That's a huge combat trick for Andre Stoski.
And that's the game.
Wow.
Willie Adel scoops up his cards.
Hey, it's pretty tough to beat it when you're trying to beat down on the ground and your opponent goes, Totem Guide Heartbeast into
Anytime you push
Knightly Valor.
3 creatures in front of a creature and your opponent taps any mana at all,
Yeah,
you have mentally quit the game.
Yeah, you may scoop immediately. That's true. You take a look at our players here. There's Willie from Brazil.
Yeah, you talked about all the things that Willie's playing for this weekend. Willie also has like a Hall of Fame sweat going on.
He has gotten a really nice push. I voted for him.
He's got a huge sweat.
I only voted for 2 people. He was one of them. That's Anchor to the Aether that we see Alexander Hayne playing.
Yep. Jason Ascalon puts his Crow and Jailer on top of his library, but not before he taps a Rock Smaller.
That Jailer has not impressed me thus far.
No, but sometimes
It looked bad, and so far it's been bad.
Sometimes you just need it though to get a renown creature through.
Yeah, I mean it does do something.
Yeah.
It is not completely worthless. It's just so inefficient. 3 mana.
Yeah. Speaking of,
though it looks like Jason is not short on mana here.
Replays the Jailer, has Foundry of the Consoles mana available to him.
We haven't watched this whole game. This does not look good for Jason. Alex has a much bigger board state. He's got Jason all the way down to 5, and I think we're going to see the full-on rumbles here.
And Jason scoops him up. Alexander Hayne goes up 1-0 here against Jason Ascalon. And Alexander Hayne, 25th ranked player you see in the top 25 pro rankings, but he's playing for a spot at the World Championship this weekend. Right, if Alexander Hayne can just sort of hold serve against Pascal Maynard, he is locked for the World Championship at the end of this event.
Hold. He's trying.
Get a look at our front table. Andre Stoski, 2 Pro Tour top 8s this season.
Real early too, right?
Yeah, first and third. First and third. Unfortunately for him, the word Tarkir is not in the next Pro Tours title. He's top 8'd both Cons and Dragons of Tarkir's Pro Tours. So, statistically, he is very unlikely to top 8 as a result at Magic Origins.
Indeed.
It's interesting. I mean, he's the of the people in his playtest group that are here. He's the top ranked player in the top 25 pro rankings.
He is.
Yeah, he's got Pro Tour champions, Hall of Famers, but it's the young man who is who's leading them all right now. Both of these players we've seen playing Boros. Willie will be on the play, I assume. I don't know, though.
I think with these red-white
Yeah.
mirror, I think you probably want to be on the play, but Willie wastes about 3 seconds of time before mulliganing, so.
Is your default in sealed to draw? Like, do you start from a position that you're going to draw in sealed and then?
No, I play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my starting point. And then if given information about either the format or the matchup, then I will draw. I'm much more likely to draw in sealed than I am in draft. But I don't start that way.
Yeah.
Now, quick word about mulligans here also. We're not using the new rule that you may have heard about quite yet here. That's going to debut at the Pro Tour, and then I think they're going to kind of powwow after that, get a bunch of feedback, and then decide what to do. R&D, I'm sure they're going to have some meetings and decide how to proceed after that. But a lot of the players that have been testing for the Pro Tour and are using this as kind of a stopover have actually been practicing like that because, hey, that's what they're going to be doing at the PT. The new rule, of course, being that if you mulligan after you keep, you get to scry one.
So there's a Majoring Bully from Willie Adel. Has to attack every turn. Doesn't have haste, let's say, like a Valley Dasher, but it has prowess, which is...
Look, turn 2 is when you want it. Yeah. I mean, later in the game, it gets significantly worse, but this one's fine.
In for 2.
All right, I dare you. Titan Strength.
That is a giant bully. I mean, he just beats the snot out of 2 little dragon fodder tokens.
Yeah, 2
takes
goblins.
Their lunch money.
He did.
And hacks their Facebook pages. There's a Bogart Brute from Andre Stoski.
So that's a 3/2 with Menace?
3/2 with Menace, yeah. New keyword here in Magic Origins. So that means it has to be blocked by at least 2 creatures.
Yeah, it has to be double blocked or more. Yep.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you were to attack with it, it should be able to get in here, assuming that Willie doesn't have something like another Gear per Gear Crafter. In the meantime, I am curious to see if Andre actually wants to trade. Willie doesn't have a choice. He must attack here, but Andre's not going to trade. He figures his creature's better.
And no turn 4 play for Willie.
No, not yet.
But again, remember, he did mulligan. So there's Enthralling Victor. He's going to steal the Majoring Bully unless Willie has a spell he can cast here, which would put it above the threshold.
Good point. Yeah, but he doesn't.
No, and Andre gets in for 5.
Wow, that could have been a big game swinger, especially because Willie continued. He played nothing that whole entire turn cycle.
Yeah,
not on his turn, not on Andre's turn. Majoring Bully continues to beat down, but the blood might be in the water here. It could be a situation where Willie needs to find a second white mana to start deploying, maybe a War Oracle or something. He's going to Suppression Bonds the Boggart Brute, leaving just Mr. Six-Pack there, the enthralling Victor back. But that guy's going to do just fine. And that was a Sword of the Animist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so now it's going to be a 4-3, and he's going to get to start digging through his deck here. And Willie Adel, he's going to need to get on his feet mighty quickly here.
I've only played with the sword once.
Was it nice?
It was.
I haven't played with it. It's a rare.
So nice. I mean, every attack you're just thinning your deck out.
That does feel good.
There's a Relic Seeker.
Okay. That's not great. The Sword of the Animus is going to allow this enthralling Victor to just rumble right past the Seeker.
Yep. And Andre's going to continue to dig out his mana.
Now, I did see in Willie's hand that he had, I believe, a Mighty Leap.
In Willie's hand?
Yeah, in Willie's hand. But he's stuck on just the one plane, so he's only able to deploy one white card per turn. And he's went Suppression Bonds into Relic Seeker, but it could be too slow.
Here's Abbot of Carol.
Keep. And what did he hit?
He hit the Embermaw.
A Hellion?
Hellion, yes.
Okay, but he doesn't quite have enough to actually cast it. So he'll have to just settle for a champion here.
Iroas is champion, yeah. 2/2 double striker.
Andre's firing on all cylinders here. And this Majoring Bully looks terrible.
Well, you know what? That's what you get.
I don't even think Andre blocks it here. Like, why bother, right? There's just no point to risking it. He's at a pretty high life total here. It's tempting to get a little greedy and be like, yeah, I'll eat it with my Erosis Champion. It's got double strike. But I think you just take the hit.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Yeah, you just turn Willie's combat trick into a removal spell if you do that. Oh, no.
Is it a Crow and Jailer?
This is not what Willie Adel wanted to do. Andre still has some gasoline left in the tank here, too.
Looks like, I think he has a Knightly Valor in hand and a Titan Strength.
Which he can cast both of this turn if he wants?
Yes.
Holy smokes.
So here comes Knightly Valor.
Do it. Put it on the champion.
He puts it on the Abbot. Yep.
All right, but Willie's seen enough. Either way, extends the hand, and not a good start for Willie Adel.
No.
He gets kind of ran over by Andre Stoski. And remember, with Willie, he was one match away in Providence from hitting his goal of hitting platinum. Missed.
Right.
Liked his deck. His deck actually top-8'd the tournament, just not in his hands. It was Pedro Carvalho who turned top-8'd.
So he basically needs what finish this today or this weekend?
We have it on the graphic, but it's like 12-3 or something.
Right.
Like he needs a point.
Right. So he should talk to Alexander Hayne about that.
I might have it right here.
Alexander Hayne is, holding a master class this season on 12-3 at a Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And by the way, Alexander Hayne
he needs a 12-3.
Yeah, just took his match. We came over just in time to see Alexander Hayne casting Titanic Strength with like 10 creatures on his side to a Crow and Jailer who was overmatched by the inmates on the other side. All right, we're going to see what we can do about switching some matches around.
Okay.
But, so what did...
So first off, a Crow and Jailer 0-for-2 on the day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're going to see many of those at the top tables late in the day. Card's just not efficient enough to hang.
Right.
Like you said, it does do something, right? Like we have to draw the line at not totally terrible.
Right.
It does do useful things. It just costs so much to do them that when you find yourself behind, it doesn't get you out from that mess. You said, well, sometimes you can use it to tap down a creature and get in for renown. That's good.
Sure.
That's really nice.
But you have to take off an entire turn to do that.
Yeah, and also you've spent a card.
To me, one of the things interesting, Titanic Growth, Titan Strength, Mighty Leap. lots
Enshrouding Mist.
Enshrouding Mist, yeah. We saw a lot of combat tricks. Very scary to try to, jump a creature with multiple creatures in this format.
Totally. So the thing I think that the players are going to be paying the most attention to, and that they will have been in their practice for this tournament and for next weekend at the Pro Tour, really learning the not the combat tricks, but the removal spells. The instant speed removal spells. What punishes me for doing the play that I want to make? And I've done it.
There's not a ton.
It's not much. You look at the list, and it's actually quite short.
A card like Reeve Soul is terrific, but it's sorcery speed.
Yeah, yes, Reeve Soul, sorcery speed, and you get up to the 5 mana black removal spells. There's 2 of those. Those are instant speed, but they're 5 mana.
Sure.
One of them costs double black. Like, you don't see that. Like, you can play around that pretty easily.
Right. Fiery Impulse.
Fiery Impulse is one of the best options.
Fiery Conclusion, kind of a nice card. A little surprising. Lets you, play around something.
That's the one where you have to sack a creature.
You have to sacrifice a creature, but you don't just go, oh, I'll just take my creature and sack it. You pick your spots with it. Your opponent tries to steal your creature, tries to kill your creature, tries to do something, and you kind of get a little bit of last use out of that creature before it goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Celestial
that's one I think
Flare's
that they don't see
another
coming. Celestial Flare's one for sure. We noticed, I don't think Willie had it in that first game. He would have cast it at some point there just to kill something. But that was a really interesting spot, right? Like, when we got to that point where Willie was representing Celestial Flare, it was like he was holding up a sign.
Right.
Right now, he might not have had it, but the point is that it was just blaring from the, mountaintops, Celestial Flare.
And he bought a turn.
Yeah.
He bought a turn. There's a turn where Andre pumped the brakes a little bit.
Yes.
Where he could have just kept pushing in. So it sounds like we have going to go down to the floor and watch another match.
We know these guys.
And we have, there they are. Ralph Levy and Antonio Del Moral Leon. This is game 3. And there's a bonded construct from Raphael Levy. I have a text between me and you where I'm like, what do you think of this guy? And you're like,
I think garbage was the word I said.
I was talking to one player who had the bonded construct at a side event deck yesterday, and he referred to it as a dark banishing. He just blocked with it.
Okay, I like blocking with it.
Yeah,
I don't
because while there's a restriction on attacking, it has to attack with another creature. It can block pretty much whatever it feels like.
Yeah, and I mean, look, here it is, Rune Servitor for Antonio, just stopping the assault from Raph Levy. Uh-oh.
Is that
That's a
Mana
Managorger Hydra.
Oh, boy.
How quickly did you put one of those into your commander deck?
I haven't yet.
What?
I had to get Woodland Bellower in first. I haven't opened one of those yet.
I was playing in a sealed event. Not my opponent, thank God, played Bellower with that in sealed.
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, my God.
I'm in.
Yeah. Mythic and
Whenever
rare.
any player plays a spell, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Oh, by the way, it has trample.
And it has trample, which is huge. Yeah, Managorger Hydra is one of the better cards, especially at 3 mana in the set. The knock on it would be, but if you draw it later, it still ends up being a 3/3 or a 4/4 by the time it attacks. So even later in the game, it's totally fine. And then the longer it goes, people got to cast spells.
Yep, that's what Raph Levy's thinking about right now.
Yeah, we were talking on the podcast about it. I was positing the super sick tech of just not playing any spells. Play around that.
That is definitely a plan.
Yeah.
You have a Force Mage. You have a Force Mage is going to make one of the tokens into a 3/3, and it is going to attack alongside the bonded construct. And I would happily trade the Rune Servitor here. I want my opponent to draw spells if I'm Antonio Del Moral Leon, right?
Especially if you're playing green-red. Because green only has one real removal spell, and that Managorger Hydra could very well be out of range within a turn or two. And red is burn spells, and you know that those have a limit to how much they can do too. So if you can get that Hydra up to like a 4/4 or 5/5, it's going to clear most of the things that Raph is going to be able to do about it long term.
Yep. And that's exactly what he does.
It's a 2/2 right now.
This is a Force Mage. Nope.
Ooh, Citadel Castellan.
Wow.
No land drop, though, for Antonio, who drew an extra card off of the Rune Servitor and then his draw step, too. So he's He was unlikely to miss his land drop there, but he did. Now the window is closing for Raph here. If he's going to kill that Mana Gorger Hydra,
he
it's going to
basically
have to
needs
be
like
very soon.
a Wild Instincts this turn to 2-for-1 himself.
That would do it. That would. It would. Yavis Force Mage would trade, and I think he would be quite happy to make that trade. He's found himself in a really tough spot, though. 2 great plays in a row for Antonio. Citadel Castellan applying a lot of pressure here as well. Any combat trick means that Citadel Castellan just does serious work. All right, well, we're back in business here.
Farika's Disciple, Death Touch, 2-3.
Yeah.
But again...
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, that card's great.
Now he has mitigated the threat of the Mana Gorger Hydra. And, you know, basically Antonio is going to have to find a way. And now we kind of flip it back on its head, because Green-White doesn't have a lot of answers for the Farika's Disciple. It does have some, like you can suppression bonds it or whatever, but it doesn't have, you know, the type of card that you can just pay 1 or 2 mana, reach out, kill it, and then start beating down. That's not going to happen. He's going to have to use a premium removal spell on it, or 2-for-1 himself to get rid of it.
Suppression bonds would be probably the best option.
Suppression bonds is the
here.
best option, yeah. And it's great. I mean, look at the board.
And Shrouding Mists is fine here, too.
Sure. Yeah, that would be great, too. Uh-oh, here we go. 4 mana. Is it bonds?
It is!
Ding! Oh, man.
Get in with my 5/5. You have no conceivable blocks.
Nope. Take 5, Raph.
You could block with everybody, lose your board, and take 1.
Man, Antonio's like, hey, can I get that Hall of Fame pin now?
Oh, that's right. He gets a pin.
You know, when you play against a GP, if you play against Hall of Famer, you usually get a pin that says, I played against the Hall of Famer. Antonio might want to lock up the pin now before he wins this thing too quickly, because that Hydra is out of range now of most things that Raph can do, and it is going to completely stomp him.
So, like, at this point, to me, Raph's best hope is to stay alive somehow long enough, then active treason the Hydra and trample over.
That does work. You know.
I mean, that's about
all. It
all
even
I
triggers off of the act.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, that's about the only thing I could think as far as an out for him.
Yeah, I mean, another Death Toucher would do it.
Sure.
He's not in a good position.
Yeah.
Red-green just doesn't have the tools to deal with the 5/5. It's supposed to go over the top, but that thing's not going to be a 5/5 for long.
Right. And once it got to 5/5, it was out of range of basically every removal spell.
Most everything reasonable.
Yeah. Raph's like, how do I attack here?
You know, there's Ravaging Blaze in the format. That's the
sure, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, but
sort of
doesn't work, right? Like, he's on 4 mana. He would need to get way too many mana, and that Hydra is not slowing down.
So he needs Animist's Awakening.
So now we're trying to stitch together just these awkward
Heartbeat of Spring.
Yeah, there you go. Now we found some outs for him.
In Modern.
Yes, in Modern.
So there's an Orchard Spirit. Yep.
That's not going to do it, though. That can peck away at Antonio's life total a little bit here and there.
I mean, I'm curious if Raph's even playing an Active Treason or anything like that.
Let me grab you the deck list here, and we'll take a look.
He does have an Active Treason in his deck.
Does he really?
He really does.
Oh, no.
He has 2 in it. He actually has 2 in his deck. He started 1. He had 1 in the sideboard. So I don't know if he saw. We don't know what he saw in the earlier games. It's possible that he brought. Like, I would bring the second one in for the.
Maybe so. Maybe so. The problem also is that looking at Raph's board, you know, one way you can beat a Mana Gorger Hydra is to try to race it, right?
Sure.
You can just try to put the damage race to them, but unfortunately he has effectively 0 pressure on Antonio at the moment.
Oh, yeah, none.
Just no attacks possible, so pretty rough. That Orchard Spirit, like I said, it can start attacking next turn, but it's only to a turn. It's not going to close the door on the 18 life of Antonio Del Moral Leon in any type of.
So Raph is holding a Titan Strength.
Okay. Is he gonna? Can he block with everything? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would do it. Or would it? He just plays 2 Timber Pack Wolves this
Yeah,
turn?
2 Timber Pack
So
Wolves.
he just added 6 power and 6 toughness plus 2 counters. So
Yeah.
he just put 8 power and 8 toughness on the board this turn. Looks like he's going to consider attacking with the Citadel Castellan alongside. But he's actually got it up to 8/8, which means that if Raph were to block with everything, 2, 4, 5, 6 plus Titan Strength, 7, 8, 9, he could effectively trade his entire board for Mana Gorger Hydra. He decided against it. He's going to take it, go to 7. Jeez, adding the 2 Timber Pack Wolves makes even the active treason play probably just not good enough.
Right.
If it was before.
And I think even if it, and he didn't, Raph, he had the Titan Strength, so there was some opportunity where maybe Raph could have assembled a wipe my board to kill your Mana Gorger
Yeah, I talked
Hydra.
about it last turn. It would
But-
have wiped his whole board.
But I think Del Morale Leon's holding Enshrouded Mists.
Oh, that would just be. I mean, that would mean that Raph has no outs to kill the Hydra. Like, green,
None.
red cannot get through that. Eight,
He is
Mana
holding the
Gorger
active
Hydra.
treason.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's holding the active treason.
Can he combo it with, like, the Titan Strength? Like, chump block here? Oh, this is just so gross. I don't even think it's going to be good enough. Leon's at 18. Chief of the Foundry here?
Yep.
Sure. Weird, leaving up double red. No, that makes sense. So he's going to have to try to line up a chump block that keeps him alive and that tries to set up the win next turn where he can steal the Hydra.
The problem, of course, here being that the Hydra has trample.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
So,
He has to let a creature get eaten.
yeah. Is this Wild
This
Instincts?
is just terrible spot.
Is this Wild Instincts?
Don't do it.
Is it Wild Instincts? It is Wild Instincts.
Antonio, you are not a nice human being.
So,
Raph is trying to win this
so that's
game.
a 12. That's a 12, right? No, I'm sorry, a 10 with +2, so it's a 12/12 trample. It's got a couple points of damage on it.
So Raph is going to make sure that he actually is taking full lethal here, because he can chump the 2 Timber Packs and then put 4 toughness in front, making it 9. He would still be dead. Oh, that's so brutal. He's close. Like, Raph is actually close, but he's going to die to this attack here. He gets 1 extra toughness off of a Titan Strength. Does that do it?
Well, he gets 1 extra toughness, but it also gives 1
Yeah.
extra
Yeah,
point
it does.
of power
Of trample.
to the Hydra.
Yeah, so it doesn't do anything.
Oh, he was.
Wow, he's going to show him, look. He's like, I was going to steal your guy, and I was going to kill you with it. And Leon's like, yeah, cool story, bro. On to the next one. Wow.
Wow.
Mana Gorger Hydra, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Raph had, at that point in the game, what we think was the only card he maybe could have had within his colors.
Right.
That would give him some hope of stealing that game. But
Totally.
he just did not have the time nor the defenses to get there.
No, I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, he even had that game plan assembled.
Look at Antonio. He's like,
You know,
I
sometimes-
drew the Mana Gorger Dragon on turn 3. What could I do?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. We got our turbo match. We're going to watch Pascal Maynard versus Jonathan Gardner. There you see an Undercity Troll, and a Rune Servitor holding a
Was
veteran
that a
sidearm.
sidearm? Mm-hmm. Not a great Magic card. Ooh,
So that's
Undercity
the-
Troll. I'm jealous.
Yeah, is that the Alchemist style?
Vial. Mhm. Yep.
You buy it in the Alchemist style.
Bogo.
All right, so
Is that a Thopter Engineer?
yeah, Thopter Engineer. So Pascal's getting in here. The Undercity Troll runs into a 1/3.
That's pretty nice.
Hey, look. It's Zendikar Incarnate.
It's a 4/4. Currently.
For now, yeah. There's a Scabskin Drake. What is it?
Scrapskin.
Scrapskin Drake.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, creative team really got us with that one.
Scab Clan.
Do you think they all like get popcorn, meet up at one of their houses, and just say, "Oh,
What do you want to use on this one?
get 'em."
Council,
Yeah,
or Consullied?
all Hamaret." You know, it's Scythian.
Is it?
Scythian.
I'm sure I've said that at some point. I've tried many different options. So Zendikar Incarnate.
What just happened?
Rune Servitor and Thopter.
Yeah, well, why did only he killed he traded his
I guess he didn't want to. He didn't want to.
Zendikar Incarnate for a Thopter engineer?
Yeah, I guess he didn't want to give a card. But there you see your buddy,
Oh,
Separatist
there it
Void
is.
Mage,
there's my guy.
bounced a rock smaller, and Pascal attacked with his team. Now, rock smaller comes back down. Move the sidearm here.
So that gets him in for 4 in the air.
Goes to attack step, sacrifices the vial, says,
I was going to say, wait, does
Yeah, it says
can
the
that thing actually
Thopter can.
attack?
so Undercity Troll ends up trading with the Separatist Void Mage. He goes back to brag to his friends about how much he did.
No kidding. Wow. That
Okay.
Void Mage is an all-star.
So rock smaller though. Renown. There's a Mage Ring Bully. There's a Lightning Javelin.
Yep, Lightning Javelin, so 3 damage at sorcery speed, and you get to scry one. He's left it on top. Mage Ring Bully looks not great here, though. The way is fairly clear.
Oh my
Ooh,
God!
it
Whirler
was.
Adept.
Whirler Rogue, yeah.
Whirler Rogue, yes.
That card's so sweet.
Pretty much the best non-rare, non-mythic
Might
of the
be,
set.
yeah. It's high on my list. That card's unreal.
Attacks with both.
It's a lot of
Pascal
damage.
says, yeah, I'll take it 8 or more damage here.
Yeah. Oh, that thing?
That is the Volcanic Rambler.
Rambler, right. I was hoping to not have to remember the name of that card, but
I had definitely saved that card for later in my.
yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a 6/4 for 6. You can pay 2 in a red to have it deal 1 damage to a player. Kind of a weird card,
Yeah.
but I think it got the job done there. Maybe not.
I think Pascal got that.
Okay. Flew over and
Yeah.
Modern Pod 19. Modern Pod 19. Your event is ready to begin. Come to the Dragon Gamer by the concessions area. Modern Pod 19.
So yeah, Jonathan's on the play here. And there's a Fetid Imp.
love that guy.
That guy does some hard work.
Very annoying for a lot of decks
There's Yevon Force Mage.
with no friends.
Yeah. Oh, Maritime Guard.
Do it. Watch it block. Oh, that's Dwynen.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a nice curve now all of a sudden for Jonathan Gardner.
But did he not want to attack? Or was the Fetid Imp back? No.
It wasn't, but it's a 2/2 versus a 1/3, so he figured.
Is Yevon Force Mage an elf?
I don't think so. Is it? Oh, you know what? Of course it is. It's Yeva, right? That's an elf.
Yeah.
Huh. Did he just
Yeah,
not
it's an
see
elf
it?
shaman.
Yeah, I think he maybe just didn't see it.
So Jonathan gets his attack. There's a Catacomb. Wow. Pascal's playing all the toughness creatures here. Got a Catacomb Slug on board.
Wow. A 1/3 into a 2/6. It's double as good as a Maritime Guard.
And
Yeah, he
nice.
just missed an attack on that early stage. I
oh,
could
there's
really
a
get
Llanowar
him.
Empath. I love this card.
If that card's not an elf, then I'm quitting.
He just showed him a Wild Instincts on top.
So he didn't get to draw that
No,
because it wasn't a creature, but you still have to reveal it.
which meant he also didn't get to draw a land.
He's got a Graveblade Marauder, though, over on...
Yeah, that's a 1/4 death touch.
Yeah.
3 mana.
Which,
And
by the way, I'm sold.
you're sold at that point
Yes,
without any other abilities.
Totally, I am sold. That
But
is
whenever,
great.
whenever Graveblade Marauder deals combat damage to a player, that player loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard.
Yeah. I think that's a Deep Sea Terror, that foil one in the middle there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a 6/6 for 6. Can't attack until he has Threshold, dare I say.
Well, it's not exactly Threshold. I think it's 6 cards, or is it Threshold?
7. Right? It's Threshold 7, right?
Yeah, it is 7.
Yeah. Yeah. But Threshold's not a word for
Right.
for
For a core
core set,
set.
so it just says 7. It's also the only instance of that happens. But
All right, there's the Drake. And both players
wow,
are
this board has become a bit of a nightmare.
gummed up.
Now,
Well,
one of the
instincts-
cards that I'm super excited to see how good it actually is Evolutionary Leap. You see that at the bottom of
Oh,
the screen there for
I
Jonathan?
did not see that
And
card.
that has to benefit him here. He can start just churning through his deck. It's 1 and a green. He can pay green to sacrifice a creature, and then he gets to reveal cards from the top until he hits a creature, put that in his hand. Put the rest random on the bottom, but basically it just means that all of his creatures are now able to get upgraded. Is that another Deep Sea Terror?
It is.
Pascal. Toughness City over there for Maynard. Meanwhile, Fetid Imp.
Yeah,
Just
Chugga
doing
chugga.
work.
Jonathan Gardner's trying to figure out how to get his Cobble Brute.
And he can't because there's a 2/6 on the other side, which matches up quite nicely.
Wow,
against
so he just
Cobble
sends in Yeva,
Wow.
Cobble Brute,
There's
the
a Freakus
Empath,
Disciple up there,
and
I
the
believe.
Freakus Disciple.
Yeah, wow. This is a very aggressive attack. So Pascal's going to be thinking about cards that can blow him out here. Chandra's Fury is a card that could, get in a little extra here if he blocks with how he's blocking, how he had his block originally lined up with the Slug on the Cobble Brute and like a Maritime Guard on a 2/2. Like that's where Fury can kind of get you.
So really just so loses his Oops. Gotta read Twining.
Wow.
Undercity Troll.
Jonathan's deck looks great.
See, I really like Pascal's deck.
Yeah.
I like all that toughness.
Double Maritime Guard or Maritime Guard Slug doesn't. Guard does seem actually well positioned as a defensive creature,
Yeah.
though. It blocks the
Have
renowned
you
creatures.
played a Yoked Ox in this format yet?
No. Get out of here. I'll play a Guard maybe. I haven't had to yet. But if you need a 2-drop in your control deck, you could do a lot
All right.
worse than that.
So get in with some 3-power elves. Get in with now a 3/4 Freakus Disciple. And now it's time for the Deep Sea Terrors to do some munching. Wow.
Are those all on Dwynen?
No, those are all on. I think
Oh,
it's just,
Dwynen's back. Are those on the Empath?
yeah, those are on the Empath.
What did he have? Titan
He did have a
Strength.
Titan Strength,
That helps.
so that's a 6. So
It looks like they had a little confusion about what was ordered what, but ultimately a Deep Sea Terror dies. Oh, man, there's a Spider as a follow-up here for Gardner. I love that card, the Sky Snare Spider.
yeah,
6/6 with Vigilance and Reach. I'm surprised that Jonathan hasn't gotten rid of the Gear Pair Girdcrafter there with his Evolutionary Leap.
right.
Oh, you got to feel like you can upgrade just a random 2/1 now.
Oh, there you go. He heard you.
Maybe he heard me. And that's an upgrade. So he just shuffled away 3 lands that he was going to draw that he absolutely did not want.
Yep.
And now he's going to play an 8/4
Yeah.
for 4 mana.
Zendikar Incarnate.
And he's going to want to get his beat down on because that Sigiled Starfish is going to do serious work for Maynard the longer this game goes. Yeah, he's got good attacks here. Crunch.
So 1/4 Death Touch gets in front of Dwynen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Deep Sea Terror gets in front of the Spider.
Time in the round has elapsed. Active player, please finish your turn and then begin the 5-turn extension.
Zendikar Incarnate's now up to a 9/4.
Yeah, don't you put the Death Toucher in front of the 9/4?
I don't know. He gets to just eat something with it this turn,
Okay.
and he can trade. Yeah,
Oh,
he's doing
dark.
a trade. What is he doing? What is that? I
That
can't
Dark
see it.
Dabbling?
Is it? Oh God! And he has Spell Mastery. So he's going to regenerate all of his creatures here and draw a card. Oh no!
Wow.
Man, Pascal's not playing, the most powerful cards overall. Maritime Guards and the Deep Sea Terrors and your Slugs and your tricks, but they do work. All right, so it looks like Weight of the Underworld is going to slow down Zendikar Incarnate at least a little bit, enough so that the 2/2 trades for it. But that is a 2-for-1 against Pascal Maynard. And wow.
Wow. So there was a Ravaging Blaze on the 6/6. There was a Lightning Javelin.
Well, those went to his head.
Yeah. Well, I think so did the Ravaging Blaze.
Well, I think it wasn't an Exquisite Firecraft.
Oh, and then he ended on an Exquisite Firecraft.
Okay.
Missed in there was the Ravaging Blaze.
Wow.
So
What
we'll
a
pick things
flurry of
up
a
in the middle of
finish.
Game 3 here.
Yeah, I like this. So this is live again, so we're going to get to see how this thing actually ends. This is a really kind of a classic limited matchup, right? Pascal's got the slow blue-black deck, and Jonathan Gardner has the big, dumb red-green deck.
Yes, Guardians of Meletus.
Shields, they are up. Kind of laughing at the poor Mage Ring bully.
Yeah. With his win condition, the Drake.
Yeah. I mean, he got in for 4 or 5 with Fetid Imp last time. Oh, no! Zzz. Arrow Volley.
What?
Take down the Imp. It only takes down one.
Yeah,
creature.
still pretty good.
Little sideboard tech there from Jonathan Gardner, who continues to rumble with both creatures. Take 2.
Oh, there's Rock Smallers.
Wow. They're playing very quickly here, too. I like that. And I really like Jonathan Gardner's draw here. It's going to put a lot of heat on Pascal pretty
I really
quick
like
in this game.
Pascal's draw here.
Tell me why.
I believe we're going to languish.
Oh, my God.
I believe we're going to
Can I
send
join your
all
team real
your
quick?
We're going to send your team to the garbage, and we're going to leave a Guardian of Meletus. Oh, Freaker's Disciple's a nice follow-up.
That
though.
is a good follow-up
As
when
is
they have
Foundry
that.
of the Console.
Yeah, this is nice. This is a nice turn recovery plan for Jonathan, though. He can't be happy. It wasn't a complete disaster, though. He got 3 for 2'd. So, Pascal's up a card in the transaction. But looking pretty good here. Freaka's Disciple, when your opponent has the Guardians of Meletus, is really nice.
Yeah.
No blocks. But he's got the removal spell to take down the Death Toucher, so no worries for Pascal. And now he's
Unholy
got
Hunger takes it out.
and now he's got an Aeronaut and a Throwing
And a
Knife to
throwing
follow up, which is really nice little combo there. Jonathan's going to use his turn to crack the Foundry and get his own 2 Thopters. Alchemist Vial.
And there it is. There's Zendikar Incarnate.
6/4 right now.
That's it.
Crawworm status. I mean, it looks great here, too. Like, as the board sits, it has very nice attacks. If he's going to equip, and theoretically pay for said equip,
There's the equip.
then he does have a trade lined up if he wants to throw both creatures in front of the Zendikar Incarnate, which is now big enough to get through the wall. Looks like Pascal's got other plans, though.
He's going to Eyeblade Assassin one of the tokens. Then attack.
He has the opportunity to throw the knife, but he doesn't.
And he's going to move it over to his Eyeblight.
Wow,
Assassin.
that's really nice sequence there for Pascal, because now he's got an Eyeblight Assassin that can trade for the Zendikar Incarnate. And it also killed a Thopter.
Right.
And
'Cause
he
it
used
gives
up all of his mana in that sequence, too.
Gives
so
+2/+0.
that was a beautiful play there from Pascal, really setting up a nice situation for himself here. Jonathan is not going to be happy trading off Zendikar Incarnate for stupid 2/2.
Yeah, well.
So he's going to use this opportunity to probably get in for a good crunch of damage here. He's attacking for 7. The assassin cannot block because he used the vial on it.
The wall just jumps.
The wall
I mean,
jumps.
Pascal's down to 13.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want to take an extra 6 damage there.
Gardner's on 12. He's got 6 damage he can get in. There is
Oh, you're so good to me. I love you.
Separatist Void Mage.
Yep. He's
gonna
going to return the
bounce
big
it.
boy.
He was thinking about sacrificing it.
He is, just so that he doesn't have to do it, but that's the card he wants anyway, so it makes sense.
Moves
The
to
problem
throw
is
in
his
there
life total is dwindling quickly.
Yep.
He needs another aerial volley here.
Yeah, aerial volley would be sweet right now. Taps 4 mana. And there's the Zendikar Incarnate. 6/4. Not something Pascal seems terribly worried about at the moment. He's holding a black card. I couldn't see quite what it was.
Players from table 404, Alan Larossi and Braden Byron. Alan Larossi and Braden Byron from table 404. Please come to the announcing desk of the main stage.
Pascal's thinking about throwing the dagger here. His throwing knife can do 2 damage
Yeah,
to
looks like
something,
it's,
but
is
he
he
has to
holding
do
a
it
rabid
now.
bloodsucker?
He could be setting up a win if that's the case. He's going to do it to his opponent. Boom. Here, catch this. Take 2, go to 4. And if he's got the bloodsucker, then he will have the win here.
57, booster draft number 57.
Because any blocks that Jonathan has here
He does. Yep.
has him going down
He
to
does have the
1.
rabid bloodsucker in hand here.
Take it and play it, and that's going to do it.
That's
Wow.
the game. Pascal Maynard.
Starting things off 4-0.
Yeah. Starts off 4-0.
Good.